And I realized I wasn't going to be able to really carry on conversations as much as I did before.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized how much I've come to depend on the Coclear. The reality of it is you're using a completely different part of your brain to hear. And that part of the brain has never done that kind of work before, so it takes time.
Do you think there's any way that you can educate people on the process of getting a cochlear ear implant so maybe they understand better?
Yes, because I think that expectations vary all over the place. I mean, even when we went to Berlin and saw our old friends, they were all asking me if I could hear them now. Picture this: a baby comes into the world. The whole time he's been in his mother's belly, he or she, and has heard some voices, but not much. Doesn't know what it is. Comes out, and all of a sudden there's all these noises. There's a truck going by, there's cars honking, and there's a manufacturer over there, and there's things happening. A blinker turns on, and things like that. This is why a baby cries so much. It's almost like this part of the brain had just come out of the womb, and it's just learning what the heck all these noises are. And so it gets a little frustrating. Yes, maybe I was hearing all along with my hearing aids, but there was a different part of the brain. Well, for some people, you can tell them, well, this is the way it is. And maybe they watch the videos, but they're still expecting something different when they see me in person.
Do you think that the rest of the traveling that we're doing is going to be tiring or cause frustrations or anything like that?
Probably. But at the same time, we're still training my brain, so it is what it is. If we get to New York City, I'll probably have some frustrations there.
Due to accents or due to what?
Probably due to some accent. I think too, if we're sightseeing, it'll be very noisy.
tips for anyone that we might run into in New York or anything on how to talk?
Just be patient with me. Yeah, don't turn your head away. Don't cover up your mouth. Don't mumble. No mumbling.
There are so many people that mumble, and whether it's because they're shy or insecure, they just never learn to talk loudly or enunciate. What do you normally do in those situations?
I ask them if they can speak up, and if they're still mumbling, it depends on if I know the person or not. If it's a salesperson that's coming up and mumbling, and if you guys are with me, then I'll ask you what they said. Mm-hmm. But if I'm by myself and they're mumbling and they just keep mumbling and mumbling, I will say, I'm sorry, but I can't understand you. I have a hearing problem. Can you speak up, please? And sometimes I'll even go so far to say, can you not mumble?
And if it's somebody you know?
If it's somebody I know, I'll tell them right off the bat.
So we're gotta leave Chicago today. We went to the Shed Aquarium yesterday. As we were leaving the Shed Aquarium, you adjusted your implant, and then you got in the car for a little bit, and later you tried to put it back on, and it wouldn't stick.
Right. I was trying to put this part back on, and I kept thinking, why isn't it sticking? And took it off and looked at it, and lo and behold, the magnet is missing.
Apparently, it's not as easy as going to get a part for a hearing aid, where you can just pop into any audiologist's office and they've got a full line of stuff. We're basically heading to Loyola ENT in Chicago, and they said that they've got a spare battery. Hopefully they've got one that'll fit.
A spare magnet?
A spare magnet, yeah.
Yes, a spare magnet.
And hopefully they have one that will fit your induction coil.
Matt and his father found a couple of magnets, and they tried to cobble together a replacement to go into it, but and they even taped it in there, but because you need a very specific size that will screw in. So they taped the magnet in there, but it wasn't strong enough to hold it on there.
It needs a real strong, small magnet to go. We could probably find it like a hardware store, like in a door close, like a drawer close area or something like that. But then we'd have to make sure it was shaved down to fit inside that hole without tearing up the threads.
Yeah. And I thought about walking around at the ball game all night holding this up here, but that would be kind of awkward.
Yeah, or, maybe use a hat or a headband or something to hold it in place, but then it's going to shift on you. It's not going to stay exactly lined up. The outpatient clinic at the Loyola Medical Center at Cermak and First. We're going to go to see if we can find the ENT folks. That's who I talked to on the phone, and they said come on in. And I found them through the Coclear.com website.
Yeah, the interesting thing is I started panicking a little bit last night when I realized that I wasn't going to be able to go. We went to a ball game with a bunch of family, and I realized I wasn't going to be able to really carry on conversations as much as I did before. Yeah. And that's when I realized how much I've come to depend on the Cochlear.
Yeah, that's a good point.
With the Cochlear, I can really, if I switch it to this one channel that picks up all the high frequencies, I can really hear a lot of the consonants being said. I'm still lip reading a lot, but I'm able to get more out of the conversation than I can with just the hearing aid. The moral of the story, every time you take off your cochlear implant, make sure your magnet is in it. Because guess what? When it falls out, you're not going to hear it.
Yeah. You just took it off. Why?
Because it's itching and it's throbbing right now. I've been listening. I've been wearing it all day. It's now 4 o'clock in the afternoon and it's throbbing.
Yeah. Long day. And you give it a break, and then we can you can put it back on before the evening.
Yeah, I'll take about an hour break from it and then put it back on.
Yeah.
And then that way I can listen without it hurting.
Yeah. Good. What'd you do? What'd you do? Are you sure? Looks like Tetris.